The first time Madison Hayes heard the words, she almost dropped her coffee. She had been working late in her office in Chicago, Illinois, going over client proposals when her new colleague, Jason Miller, made the offhand remark. They had been assigned to work together on a major project, one that involved redesigning a campaign for a national brand. Madison, at 36, was more experienced than most on the team. Jason, who was 27, carried himself with an easy confidence, the kind that sometimes bordered on arrogance. They had been talking about strategies when he laughed and said, "You might be too old to understand the way younger audiences think." His tone wasn't harsh, but the words stung. Madison froze, her pen hovering over the page. She raised her eyebrows, trying to mask her offense. "Too old," she repeated. Jason immediately backtracked, waving his hands. "I didn't mean it like that. I just meant, sometimes experience makes us cautious, and this campaign needs boldness." Madison forced a polite smile, but inside she was burning. She had built her career with years of hard work, countless late nights, and dozens of successful projects. To hear someone dismiss her as too old felt unfair. She decided then and there she would let her work speak louder than her colleagues' careless words. The next few weeks were intense. Their company had entered a high-stakes competition to win the account, and Madison and Jason had no choice but to spend long hours working side by side. At first, their interactions were stiff. Jason was full of ideas, sometimes too many, and Madison was methodical, grounded in data and experience. Their approaches clashed daily. But slowly, something began to change. One evening, while sitting in a quiet conference room surrounded by empty coffee cups and crumpled notes, Jason leaned back in his chair and sighed. "You know, Madison, you're actually incredible at keeping all these moving parts organized. I would have lost track weeks ago." His voice carried genuine respect. Madison glanced at him, surprised by the honesty. "Thanks," she said softly. "Organization comes with age, apparently," she teased. Jason chuckled, rubbing the back of his neck. "Okay, I deserved that." From then on, their partnership started to shift. Madison noticed Jason began asking for her opinion more, genuinely listening. She also found herself appreciating his fresh perspective, even when it seemed a little reckless at first. He had a way of seeing angles she hadn't considered. Together, they balanced each other in unexpected ways. Their project required travel to New York City for a client pitch. The trip became a turning point. On the flight, Madison caught Jason scrolling through her presentation slides, jotting down notes. He looked up and admitted, "I underestimated you. I thought age meant being out of touch, but you're sharper than anyone on this team." Madison smiled, not smugly, but warmly. "That's the thing about assumptions," she said. "They keep us from seeing what's really there." The pitch itself was a resounding success. Madison presented with calm authority, weaving data and creativity seamlessly, while Jason injected energy and bold visuals. The client was impressed, not just with the ideas but with the clear chemistry between the presenters. When the meeting ended, their boss congratulated them as a power duo. Jason whispered to Madison, "Guess I was wrong about the too old thing." Over time, the respect between them deepened. Madison realized Jason wasn't arrogant so much as eager, still learning how to balance confidence with humility. And Jason realized Madison wasn't simply cautious. Her experience gave her a kind of wisdom he admired. He even joked one day, "You're like my unofficial mentor, except you don't let me get away with anything." Back in Chicago, the two of them were asked to lead more projects together. Madison thought back to that first day when he had carelessly called her too old. It almost made her laugh now. He had gone from doubting her to relying on her, from brushing off her ideas to actively seeking them out. One evening, as they left the office after another long day, Jason stopped at the door. "You know," he said quietly, "when I said that about you being too old, I wasn't just wrong, I was ignorant. You've taught me more in a few months than I learned in years of school." Madison looked at him, her expression softening. She realized the surprise of this journey wasn't that someone younger had judged her. It was that he had grown enough to admit it, and that she had opened herself up to working with him despite the sting of his words. What started as an insult had transformed into mutual respect, even friendship. And for Madison, that was the kind of ending she loved most. Not the one she expected, but the one that left her grateful for every second of the ride.